This is 9 in 9 Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. Sarah, I'm so glad to have you. This
Thank
is a
you.
little extra dream for me to be able to sit in a podcast room with you. I want to talk about when you first learned about the Enneagram and how you knew your number.
Probably about 15 years ago was the first time I heard about the Enneagram. I was on staff at a church and it was a tool they were using to help understand our team, which was really cool and beneficial. I would say I knew more by I don't know if you use this lingo even anymore, the shadow side of what my vice was than even what my strengths or where I was leading. I feel like I knew when I was like, oh yeah, that's where I struggle. I think authenticity has always been key, and how I even brand in my work, how I interact with my kids, all of that revolves around that pretty heavily. But when I see the envy side of a four, the comparison, that's where I know, okay, I keep falling into this trap. And that's where I resonate. That kind of makes me go, no, I'm definitely a four. Yeah.
As
Yeah.
your friend, you are
Yeah.
definitely a 4.
Yes. Yeah. I think because when people say, well, you seem not as sad as other fours. And that always is kind of like oh, I hate that that's even a thought that fours are sad. And I probably feel it more strongly as a four when somebody says it. But I think I wouldn't say we're more sad. I would say because we're in touch with that emotion also. We're more sad than other people, maybe, but we have all of the emotions.
Being a 4 and having this awareness around a lot of emotions,
Mhm.
what does that look like just in the everyday?
In
Having
the
all these
everyday.
emotions.
Well, okay, one of my favorite things we did as our little friend group was somebody asked the question, what did you have on your childhood bedroom wall that may help you tell who you have always been, like in light of the Enneagram? Do you remember having a conversation about that? And our resident other three was like, I had all my awards and and our seven was like, I had all these fun things and posters of things I wanted to do. And I had a shrine to the challenger, like the people that had died. I had like pictures. And I feel like to me, I have always felt kind of comfortable in acknowledging varied sides of experiences, or feeling like, oh, that must be, like nostalgia. With my kids coming home from school, we normally every night at dinner, well, if we end up at the dinner table all together, we do high, low, weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I think weird is the part that gets into, they can't just say a thing. It's like they have to go, what did you feel that was weird? What was some vibe about the day that felt funny? So it's like that always enters in for me, is the vibe and the feel of our day to day.
How do you see that passion of the 4, the envy or the noticing what's missing? How do you see that? How does that pop up for you?
It pops up mostly with work. Envy, I feel like, always comes up in, did I choose the right path because I could be more successful if they are so much further ahead. And it's not even exactly imposter syndrome, because I know what I'm good at and I think I know where my skills lie. But it's like, did I make the choice to use them in the right way? I think I've said to you before, well, Carrie Underwood isn't packing her own car and lugging up a keyboard 4 flights of stairs. Like, I find a way to diminish my own thing because it's better somewhere else. I feel like it's normally in my professional life that it sneaks in the most. And it's just a more objective, it's the only, like with your family, you're not really in another person's home. How could I even really compare? I guess you can use your kids as a litmus test, like, is my kid successful? Okay, well then I'm successful. We do that, we fall into that trap. But with profession, it's like salary is a rubric, or charts on Spotify is a rubric, or how many. So I think it sneaks in a little bit more easily because I can see, well, if I would have done this, I would have been further. And that's just a easily quantifiable area.
Sure. So some of the gifts of the 4 are this ability to be very present with uncomfortable feelings, like with pain or with sadness or grief. And And also the ability to pick up on emotion that most of us would miss. So,
Mhm,
I mean, I'm talking these little slight shades
mhm,
of emotion. Maybe the four has this empathetic response that's like, wait, no, I felt that. I
mhm,
felt that. And you may not know the person, it might be a total stranger, but like
mhm,
you feel the world.
mhm,
And I love that because it just brings to light how much maybe somebody who's feeling repressed, like me,
mhm.
how much I'm missing when I'm not as attuned. So, how do you have any examples of anything recently or where you've been more in tune with emotion than maybe the average
Well,
person?
I have noticed in my life that people have responded if I ask them a question about something hard or I acknowledge a loss. I heard that 2 years ago, da 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 da. If I haven't seen them, they'll say, I really appreciate that you said something about that because I think what I hear when they say that is most people don't broach that subject. I always assume I'm not bringing something to your mind that isn't constantly on it.
Mm,
So I feel like maybe it's not at the Chick-fil-A play place, but maybe in a conversation, if it feels like a natural place. I think one example is I typically bring something up that may be a little more, deep or sad or hard just to acknowledge it. Like that's really important to me. And most of the time, I think people are like, they're already carrying it. So I'm just saying, hey, I noticed you're carrying this thing.
yeah,
That's the first example I can think of.
that's good.
Mhm,
So what a four will avoid is being ordinary.
mhm.
Let's talk about
Look at
that.
my big
I
earrings.
love your earrings.
Um, being ordinary, yes, and that is so connected to that envy piece because it's not even just ordinary, like upwards on the whatever graph you can do. It's sometimes just ordinary, noticed, unique, like whatever your shtick is or your gimmick is, even like maybe I'm the girl who wears the weird glasses. Maybe like I think that shows up a lot of different ways. I have this memory of being in a children's choir growing up and I still have dreams about it sometimes. Like I'm like the girl in the third row and people don't know my name and I'm not like remembered. And still now, like sometimes I'll run into people and I remember people's names from like elementary school and they're like, maybe you look familiar. And it still like hits a place.
Yeah.
And I think that's the place. It's
Yeah.
like you didn't stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. I love saying it's not that the four thinks that they're the only unique personality out
Mhm,
there. It's like a four actually sees the uniqueness in everyone.
mhm,
So since that's how you see others, it's like this deep desire for you to be seen that way.
mhm,
Now, the core motivation of the four is to be seen, well, to be known and understood.
mhm.
Tell me what makes you feel known and understood in this world?
When you said known, I think I have a good feeling, actually. I feel like I know a lot of people, I'm known by a lot of people. When you said understood, I kind of felt like
Mhm.
tension in my body. Um, a couple situations where I feel really misunderstood,
Yeah.
and it kind of can almost be like a chokehold. I think to be understood means to be given the space to share enough that someone may not see it the same way, but maybe like, okay, I can at least resonate with why that makes sense to you.
Sometimes we talk more about envy looking like the ability to see something that's missing,
Mhm.
as opposed to like, oh, I want to be that person.
Right.
It's really oftentimes more a sense of I'm looking at this situation and I can see what is missing
Oh,
more than
oh
what's
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that we see the envying
Mhm.
playing out of that. And when you talk about being understood, I think that one of the reasons why that's so deep is because if you feel misunderstood, you also see that there's a gap. Like
Yes.
you get,
Oh, yes, that's so good.
hey, if you want to be a part of our next round of Enneagram 101 classes, just go to the show notes or the bio, and all the information will be there. I'd love to see you in this 5-week class that will definitely change your life for the better.